Well, this morning, Fort Myers Beach is open again to people who live and own businesses there.
This is the beginning stages for that community that's in the process of rebuilding right now. Fox 4's Keenan Scott is live on Fort Myers Beach, giving us a look at all of the damage from the ground. Really, one of the first times we're able to see this damage so up close. Keenan, what are you seeing there right now?
Yeah, good morning, guys. We're joining you live, as you said, from Fort Myers Beach. This is really the first time that we are seeing some of this damage out here. Really just super hard to take in. I want you to kind of look at what's behind me right now. This is a 7-Eleven still standing structurally, but the inside is just completely gutted. You can see some of those wires hanging down. Really just difficult to look at right now. And that's really just the tip of the iceberg. I want you to kind of walk with me here and see what else is on Estero Boulevard. Really just flattened. I mean, I was talking to a resident earlier this week and they were saying it was like a bomb went off here. You can see across the street, you can see the ocean from what we're looking at here. And then next to it, the Lani Kai Resort, still standing, as I said, but structurally standing, but the inside, much like the 7-Eleven, also very much gutted. It's really hard to kind of look around and see what we're looking at because there's so many just inanimate objects here. There's all sorts of emergency vehicles. You can see these ambulances coming by, and all morning there's been people both in emergency vehicles and in their cars with their phones up. Taking video. Really just hard to comprehend what the site is here, and it's been hard for us, as I said earlier, my photographer and I coming over the bridge, and really just it was emotional for us to take in what we were seeing here because, as you said earlier, Lisa, this is really our first time that we're seeing some of this damage, at least in daylight. Earlier this weekend, they let some of the residents on for the first time, and some of them really their first time coming back after Ian, taking in some of the damage, and it is just, it's hard to explain. Now we're seeing FPL vehicles come around and they're doing their best to kind of assess the damage, restore power, and just doing what they can to help the residents here. You can see that utility work ahead as the ambulances come by on Estero Boulevard and really just try to help the situation here. Really just hard to put into words, but the best word that I can think of is everything is just flattened. I mean, you can see behind me over here, Margaritaville is still standing, but you can't say the same for a lot of these other buildings and structures here. A lot of these buildings and structures that are decades old, some of these just historic landmarks that really make Fort Myers Beach what it is. And I can't even imagine what some of the people are going through right now. It's really just kind of hard to describe. But you know, we're going to be out here through the Ian recovery. We're going to be out here telling the stories of all the people that look to rebuild Fort Myers Beach. I mean, I'm looking on Facebook and social media in the last few days, and I've seen a lot of people say that, you know, we're going to rebuild and we're going to rebuild better. So it's really just hard to put into words. I feel for the families and I feel for the residents in Fort Myers Beach, but we're going to tell their stories as best we can in the days and the weeks ahead. But for now, in Fort Myers Beach, I'm Keenan Scott, Fox 4.
Keenan, we want to stick with you for a minute because this is really our first opportunity to walk around in the daylight at least and see some of the things you're seeing. So we have a couple of questions for you. And first of all, I don't know what your restrictions are right now. I know it's dangerous to be there. There's a lot of debris everywhere, and you may have restrictions on where you can go, but I am kind of interested. I think the area where you're facing right now, there's a side street called Palmero. We've seen a lot of Estero, and especially overhead, we've seen the areas like Times Square that everybody knows. But I'm just curious if you can maybe walk us through a side street where there are more homes, more vacation rentals, that kind of thing, and show us a little bit of that. Do you have access to that?
Yeah, Chris, we're going to do our best to kind of walk over there right now just to kind of see what we're seeing. This is really just our first time coming here and really kind of taking in what it is. You know, we're going to probably see in just the hours ahead what it's really looking like. But this is just very new for us, and it's very new for the first responders, and it's very new for the residents. As I said, it's probably hard for them to put into words what they're seeing and what they're experiencing here. But we're going to kind of take a little walk here and see what we're seeing. You know, as I said, said, we got tuna skin right here. They're still standing structurally, but the inside, as you can see, just completely gutted. You're really trying to watch my step here because there is a lot of debris in the road here. There's a lot of glass, and you really just kind of watch your step as we're moving here. Emergency vehicles coming on both sides of the roads. And as people come by here, like this fleet of trucks, some of them are just first responders, some of them are just people really trying to take in what the scene is. A lot of them have their phones up, as I said, just trying to take in the scene as we are. You know, this is very new for me as it is for everybody else, and it's hard for me to kind of put into words. But as you can see, just piles of debris over on that side in front of the Lani Kai. It's really just magnificent here, the magnitude of the damage and, you know, the sheer strength that this storm had on this small coastal community. It's just devastating. It's hard to describe, but we're going to keep, you know, going through this area and seeing what we can see. This is just the tip of the iceberg. You know, we haven't really gone further down this way here, but we're going to continue to see what we can get and maybe find some of those residents to have them share their stories with us and really just get their stories and how they're feeling through all this.
All right, Keenan Scott live on Fort Myers Beach, giving us a walk through Estero Boulevard. Thank you very much for that work there.